check this out. I am depressed. I was thinking about killing myself, so I wrote a poem. You ready? I like that. That went down easily, didn't it? It's a logical step. Alright, here we go. To see the world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower. To hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. Irony, obviously there. There's deep irony actually, because you might be thinking he's being ironic. That was William Blake's Auguries of Innocence, right? The intellectual among you might be thinking that. I could be alone. The whole bit's gonna be fucking boring. But check it out, right? It's not that. The irony is, I am William Blake, channeling my spirit through this body of Ben Q. Vicious, isn't it? You don't believe me, so it doesn't make any difference. Comedy, right, is filled with secrets I have been led to believe, and I've been trying to figure them out. So one of them I was reading is to do with pain and suffering, right? We're already familiar with the notion that suffering and pain is kind of an inherent part of comedy, right? The example given that I've been reading about was Wile-E, who, as you know, is obviously always getting battered. He's getting his head constantly smashed against rocks, and he's launched out of bows and it goes wrong, and he hits the cactus and gets out of his arse and all of that stuff. And there's constantly from the patronising roadrunner, right? And the idea was, the statement is that Wile-E is a laughable character, and he suffers and you laugh at him because every time he's hurt to the point of being nearly dead, or should be dead, you know he's going to get up again, and the next episode you see him, you're going to be alright, because he didn't die. You know what I mean? And all the kids will be like, yay, and they'll see him again, and he'll get up and it'll happen again, and it's hilarious that he suffers so much. And then I thought about it for about a second, and I was like, actually, the one time that he didn't get up would be the time I would laugh the hardest. I know that. Picture it, right? Just bear with me. I could be alone in this, and in this case it'll be a confession. But he falls off the cliff, as usual, like, you know. Hits the ground, dust comes up, and then the safe, or the rock, or whatever it is, on top of him, and you're like, oh. Right? Ha-ha. And roadrunner and legs it and laughs his ass off, as usual, mocking this poor battered animal. And then he doesn't move. He's just there, crushed under the rock, probably through the head, right? Steams just squashed into the desert floor, dead, and he's not going to get up this time, right? And roadrunner comes back and is like, you know, and then got a bit. Oh. And then next week the kids tune in, and basically for the next month or so, until it gets really tedious, you just get to gradually watch this horribly mutilated coyote disintegrate and rot away into the desert floor. Its skeleton would eventually become visible. And I'm laughing my arse off. The kids come back and they're going to be a bit disheartened by the whole thing, aren't they? But there you go, there's the coyote dead underneath the rock. What happens to the fallout? I was thinking, well, the fallout from all of that, I'm still going to be laughing, no matter how long we rot, no matter how long the skeleton is underneath the rock for. I'm going to be looking at that coyote skeleton, just laughing and enjoying it. But then I felt bad, and then I was like, well, no, think about it. Roadrunner, after that, what's going to happen to him? Roadrunner, who is, to my knowledge, in my opinion, he's an arrogant, quite self-righteous bastard who constantly laughs at the suffering of this poor creature. He loves it, and he stands there smugly laughing and meat and runs off, right? Not anymore. He's going to become a washer. He's going to become a complete loss, isn't he? He'll be a dead loss. What will he do? He'll meet for a while and run around, and then he'll think, shit, no one's chasing me. The one purpose of my life is to be chased. He's a bird, and he likes pew, and like, ha ha ha. But no, now he's going to end up in a bar, probably probably run down, drinking heavily, slowly becoming obese and lazy because he's got no one chasing him and nothing to live for. And his life will just disintegrate away. He'll slowly end up sad and depressed in a pub, just wiped out. Meanwhile, the coyote's down there. But wait a second, let's go back and look in detail at the moment of death, because there's something in it for me, right? The coyote's there, he's fallen, right? And he's hit the floor. He's used to it. Oh, more pain, more suffering. Wait until the fucking moment. But no, this time, right, the rock falls, and he doesn't expect it, because you wouldn't, you know, he's expecting to get up, just like the kids expect. But this time round, my scenario, obviously, the rock hits the back of his skull, right? I'm thinking head to finish him off cleanly, right? So it's not slow suffering. But we go in detail towards his skull. I want to zoom right in now on his head and watch his skull as the rock goes through and squashes his head. There'll be a cracking, and then the brain matter will push through his skull, and his eye's going to get really distended and then pop right out the front of his skull on his optic nerve. Like that. Straight forward. His last thought is going to be, oh, he'll see that whole universe of pain. That whole universe of pain that he's dealt with, his whole life of suffering, will become clear in that split second as his eyeball goes right out of his skull, straight out. And the last thing he's going to see as he realizes the futility of his existence, the world in a grain of sand on the desert floor. Right? What happens next? Enlightenment. In a split second, death, straight through, out the other side, he's enlightened. The universe is revealed to him as it's true. You know, don't worry. All of that pain that you've been through, all of the mockery of that kind of constant hassle over and over again, children laughing at your pain, it's going to make sense, because he's going to become the equivalent of a god. Right? Because he's enlightened, he's seen things, his spirit is free, and he gets set free into the next parallel universe. He's going to be a god, but check it out. Wile-E Coyote is a carnal beast, right? All he does is he just wants to eat the bird. That's all he gives a shit about. He wants to eat the bird, okay? And so as he becomes a god, he's going to become what I would consider the equivalent of Satan, basically. That's Wile-E's destiny. His destiny is to become Satan in the underworld, behind his acme desk, drumming his fingers, waiting for Roadrunner, who's now an obese, tired old sack of shit, sitting in a pub. He can't run anymore, and one day he's going to stagger blind drunk out into the road and get hit by that truck that kept hitting Wile-E Coyote, and it'll finish him off, and he'll start to try and fly towards heaven. I know my destiny. No, you don't. You've been mocking that creature for your entire existence. You've laughed in his poor, miserable, sad face. You're going to hell, my little furry friend. He's going to go to hell, and then he'll find himself chained around the ankles, knocking at the door of Wile-E's desk. And I'm saying that justice will be done, because Wile-E's going to spend the rest of eternity chewing on Roadrunner's ass. Hail Satan, God of justice. Hail death, God of comedy. But that's all.